Let me talk to you about some of the pros and cons to CBDCs. What up guys, Matt Long6 here. In this video I want to share with you guys about my thoughts on ideas on CBDCs, as well as the pros, cons, my concerns and cautions I would have if we ever did CBDCs here in America or really anywhere in the world. So if you guys don't know, CBDC is actually a centralized bank digital coin. So what this means is that banks will end up creating their own coins, or even the government could create their own coin. Basically, let me go ahead and start with some of the pros to this, because most of this is going to be negative. All right, so the first thing I want to say is that with CBDCs it might be easier to file your taxes, because maybe you can just copy and paste your address and it will automatically figure out all your taxes for you. That might be really nice, quick and easy. That could be set up, as well as that people are going to learn more about crypto. So if banks and governments start doing CBDCs, obviously they're going to be teaching them a little bit about crypto, and they're going to be telling them how cryptocurrency works. People are going to know and be educated about what a blockchain is, and just a whole bunch of things. Another positive things for CBDCs would be it would be easier to convert your coins into crypto. So right now, to get from fiat for your dollar bill into your cryptocurrency, if you want to buy Bitcoin or something, it's kind of a little difficult, and you have to go through some type of onboarding for that. I use Uphold. If you guys don't know what Uphold is, definitely check it out. It is an awesome exchange that even lets you buy precious metals, and you can trade XRP still, even through all the court cases that's been going on with XRP. So definitely guys, link in the description and check it out. Anyways guys, I don't know, it's going to be easier as well, I guess, for maybe blocking like contraband or things like that, as well as you can do instant payment worldwide, and it will be cheaper. You don't have to pay fees from wise.com or fees from PayPal, or if you want to do bank transfers, it's going to be a lot cheaper fees. So that's the pros. Those are the only pros that I could actually come up with CBDCs. So guys, let me know in the comments down below if I missed something. I would love to continue the conversation down there. Everyone go down there and let me know any other pros you have, but I'm going to talk to you about my cons and cautions and concerns here with CBDCs now. So one of my main concerns is that the country will have more control over money. Right now, you can have a dollar bill, it's untrackable, and you can do whatever you want with it, right? Well, if we go onto a public blockchain, then that would mean that the government can look and see everything you're purchasing. It may vary whether if they can like see a whole like receipt or something that you purchase, or if you can only see transactions. Probably just see transactions, but regardless, the banks and the government will have more control over money. This could mean that maybe they'll block incorrect contraband. So an example of that would be I do a lot of videos on my gaming channel with RL Exchange, and since it is a digital item and not a physical item that you're buying, the government may block that just because they think you're being scammed, when in reality you're not being scammed. It's a legit business. I've done plenty of videos about it. Or maybe there's some other type of contraband that's going to be blocked that's not contraband. Or maybe the government decides that, well, one big thing going on in the US is our Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. So maybe the government might block transactions to buy guns, which is against our Second Amendment, or maybe block knives or anything. So maybe the government will have more control to block that stuff, even though it is not constitutionally contraband. Or they'll just have more control, I'm just trying to say, regardless on which side of the aisle you fall on with whether people should own guns or not. I'm just trying to give an example here. Another thing would be they could block transactions to fund political donations. So maybe there's someone you really like and you want to donate to their campaign. A corrupt government could block those transactions with CBDCs because they have more control over your coins, whereas cash, you could hand them cash. I mean, there's already proof of people who are donating to the Republican Party here in the US that their banks decided we're not going to work with you anymore. So they literally close their account, stop all withdrawals and stuff, and the user is forced to deal with all of that. And I'm not even sure how they handle it. Maybe they're able to like pull out their money and go to a different bank. I don't know, but they have to go through all that hassle. With CBDCs, if there's only one CBDC in the country, then that would mean that you're blocked for that entire currency in that country. I don't know, just examples. And then as well as a government, especially if they become corrupt or they just think another country's shady for whatever reason, even if there's legit things going on, they may block transactions to other countries due to trade or economic sanctions or something like that. So example and concern I have is I have editors and graphic designers that live in other countries. Okay, guys, if the government would decide that we no longer are doing business with those countries, then how can my editors get paid if they're going to be blocking my transactions? Now, keep in mind, guys, I'm only telling you my pros, cons, concerns, and cautions that I have about CBDCs right now. I'm not saying any of this will happen. I'm saying that all these things need to be talked about before we would ever move on to a CBDC. I'm going to give a solution that I would have instead of CBDCs at the end of this video. So another thing I would have concern about is they would have potential to print unlimited coins, unlimited digital coins. And right now they have to print money. They're limited by how fast the machines go, as well as, I guess, in theory, they could unlimited print right now too. We saw that in lockdown, how they just kept printing money here in the US. But with a corrupt government, or not even corrupt, just a power hungry whatever government, a poor government that needs to pay off their bills, I don't know, could print unlimited coins in a second. That's one of my concerns that I have with CBDCs. I am very pro crypto. Okay, guys, just keep in mind that I don't believe that any of this should be centralized. This is a centralized thing that's going on here. It's called centralized bank digital currencies. Centralized mean that there is a CEO or a government in charge of all this and whatnot, whereas decentralized mean more of that the people are in control. There's not one person or one entity in control of it. There's no business in control of it. Another concern I have is that the government and banks can see every single transaction. That means there's nothing under the rug. So did you know in the US there are some states that require that you actually need a permit to do a yard sale? I mean, it's not really enforced that I'm aware of, or a lemonade stand, you need a permit to do that. And so the government might see that you're selling lemonade stand or selling yard sale without a permit, and so they could get you in trouble for that, a meaningless crime. So I don't know, you can get in trouble for that. They want to go hard on you, and the government can go hard on you. They will take you to the fullest extent of the law for stupid things just like that and stuff. And I mean, there's other things, like obviously I don't know if they'll be able to see like a receipt of everything like I mentioned before, but they'll at least see like how many times you go to Taco Bell, because you send it to the Taco Bell address. So you could definitely argue that stopping under the rug transaction is good for a lot of cases, to stop contraband and stuff that shouldn't be in here, and stop drug dealers and stuff like that. However, in other situations, it is a lack of privacy. Like I was talking about, the government doesn't need to know how much I gave to a friend to help them out during their financial needs that they asked me help for. They don't need to know which political policies and politicians that I'm donating to. The government doesn't need to know how many times I go to Taco Bell or buy frozen pizza and eat it at home. They don't need to know what brand of clothing I go to. Maybe I want to shop at Gap or Rue 21. It doesn't really matter. They don't need to know what brand of clothes I'm buying or where I buy my food. And this is all just in my pursuit of happiness, which is inside the Constitution. They don't need to know how I'm pursuing my happiness. So my biggest concern, and let's say that all these other concerns and cons are gone, all right, that's all fine. There's still one big concern that I have, and that this is centralized crypto. One of Bitcoin's purposes was to decentralize money, okay? But by putting this in the hands of the government and banks, it becomes centralized, okay? The coin is controlled by the government and not by the people. And since this is all centralized and stuff, then who's to say that the government's not going to create new taxes here just so that way they can get more money from their citizens? If the government came up with a new tax, they could potentially automatically deduct it from their citizens, depending on how all this is set up and stuff. These are all concerns. Another concern I have, which has nothing to do with cryptocurrency, is EMPs become even more powerful. They may even become second to nukes, or arguably they're already second to nukes. If there is a lack of power, a power outage, or the internet goes out, does this mean I can no longer pay people at all? I know this is a concern for all crypto, but I just wanted to throw it out there. I mean, already if we have EMP and stuff, we're going to have a terrible time, but we could hand cash to each other. Here's my solution. My solution would be to use a decentralized approach, not a centralized bank digital currency, but a decentralized approach where there's no government in charge of the coin, nor no government is adjacent to the coin. I say adjacent because the Federal Reserve and the federal government in the US are separate. They got their hands in each other's pockets always. And they influence each other always. That's why I say adjacent to government. They shouldn't, so we need a decentralized approach. There's two solutions I have here. One, Bitcoin's already a solid established option that could work. Or another decentralized cryptocurrency that we've put our trust in, that's fine. Or we don't even need it to be crypto, just something more decentralized than we have now. What gives cash value, guys? What gives cash value is the government says so, and we all have trust in our government that this cash is worth something. All right. So I would rather have something whereas gold, that's more decentralized, more than cash is at least, because we could determine that gold was universally worth money as people. We decided that, not a specific government, but as people we decided that. I'm not saying go back to the gold standard. In fact, I would rather go to the digital gold standard with Bitcoin, where if all these CBDCs, they have to be backed by Bitcoin or something. Not just because the government says so and we have trust in our government. So guys, keep in mind that CBDCs are coming. India officially launches its digital ruby, its CBDC, in November. Now it's just a pilot, it's just a trial, but CBDCs are coming, guys. Definitely keep in mind all these caution and concerns that I have given you today, and let me know in the comments down below if I miss any pros, any cons, or any other concerns you may have with CBDCs. All of these things need to be talked about in the government, and they need to tell the people how they're going to be taking control of these centralized digital bank coins, and put checks and balances in for proof, and to allow their citizens to have trust in this new currency. If there's no trust in this new currency, then the currency becomes worthless. So they need to do that. They also need to make sure that they don't just make coins, if they just make coins, then it's going to fail, because you have to have trust in the currency. Otherwise, there's no value in that currency. I mean, these governments, it'll just be better if they just do not do a centralized approach, because then any success they have will only be temporary. I mean, when was the US government, when did they finally take the US dollar off of the gold standard? In 1971, they came off of the gold standard. Now, right now of recording this, it is November 2022. So let's go ahead and do the math. 1971 minus 2022 is 51 years. We've only had 51 years of currency without being backed by the gold standard. That's half of one person's lifetime, assuming someone lives to be 100. I guess the average lifespan of the average person in the US is like 77 years or so, but there are people who are going to remember when we were still on the gold standard. It wasn't that long ago. Also, how in the world did America trick the entire world to let their currency backed by the US dollar? How in the world did America accomplish that? And then not only that, we rug pull them and take out the gold standard. I don't understand. I'll have to do a lot of research about that, guys. I mean, but still, let me know in the comments down below what you think about all these pros and cons about CBDCs, and let me know if there's anything I missed. Let me know if you think these are valid concerns or invalid concerns. I would love to know what you guys think about CBDCs, and I'll see you guys next time. If you guys would be so kind, definitely check out my gaming channel. Thank you for subscribing to my crypto channel right here. Also, we do public pranks with the humanity test, so check that out, as well as I have a little extra channel for little extra things. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, guys, trade safe, stay safe, and God bless. Peace. There was a spider web in my there's a spider web in my microphone here.